Hey, can y'all hear me? I guess my internet went out for a second. And that happens, I lose connection. Take it. Yeah, sorry about that. I lost interwebs. Hey, Mr. In Dude. How you doing, bud? Dang internets. I know. I'm gonna try a speed test real quick, see what I'm coming in at. I was using Wi-Fi. It worked fine yesterday. So I just hooked it up to Ethernet. Megabits. 600. Try again. Hey, Amy. My internet went out. It probably just stopped abruptly. I looked down, it's like I see red light, and I'm like, what the f... Sorry about that. 643. BPS. I'm getting 80 megs a second right now. Well, that's pretty good, I guess. It's not the normal 100 I'm used to. Whatever. Stupid. Technology, yeah, I can, I guess. Stupid. It's a stupid. How are you guys doing? Maybe it was line. It was line. Fickle Brad, I feel like that's a feeling that Pip calls her cat. That's pretty funny. Alright, so let's do some creepy stories, guys. How's that sound? And then the internet went out. Now I'm going to put y'all on the other side so I can... I gotta get a dual monitor set up. Creepy. canoodles. Oh, wait, what? Type delete account. There we go. I think I got it that time. I just censored myself from the B word. It's fine. Trying to get this thing to restart. I'm sorry, guys. 1 second. This is probably no fun for y'all. Oh, kombucha looks even trashier in it. Sianta, delete it. Dang it. You weirdie. I want to line. Okay, looks like I have to delete this game and reinstall it. And it takes forever. Thank you, Sianta. I've had acid reflux all day, guys. Got water here, I got water here. I got green tea here, and I got kombucha here. I'll probably have me an ice cream sandwich later. I thought we could say that word. Sorry, no problem. I don't know. We'll see. I just don't want people to feel singled out. Does that make sense? Alright. Well, can't do anything with that right now. That's okay. The Wash Day Demon. Why do I feel like my red lights are not all in front of me? I feel like that's a little better. Yeah, it's a little bit better. I always forget which words they are. Chappy needs to tell us the 7 words you can't say on TV. I will on Discord. I often say them myself. Wash day is a Native American word? I don't know. I think my mom left. Poor thing. This is the story. Let's get started. My mother, dead now. These past 18 months, may God rest her soul, was a fantastically... Nope. You can say pubis. Was a fantastically superstitious woman. Her ancestry a combination of strict Catholicism and Irish folklore had resulted in a potent blend which caused her to view life as a series of potential transgressions, some valid, some merely fanciful. Which may culminate in one of a million unwanted outcomes should she step over some mystical line. It was a matter of good fortune for me that my father, although a virtuous man, was totally lacking the imaginative capacity to believe very much in either religion or superstition. He would acquiesce to my mother's demand that spilled salt be thrown over his shoulder, where she firmly assured us it would be hit the devil square in the eye. Keys, errantly placed on the table, would be removed by him, and then the underside of the ladders were always avoided. All these sanctions were borne well by him and always played along with a look of mild amusement. Total disbelief or loving indulgence, according to how whimsical mother's demand might be. Never once did I hear him shout at her for stupidity of her beliefs. Oh, sure, Double J streaming. Okay. Did not use my mouse. Sorry, guys. Okay. Nor did he ever refuse to play along. In time, I learned to humor my mother and indulge her many whims. I walked a line between them and viewed the world lore with a healthy skepticism and a pinch of open-mindedness. I think he just uploaded, not stream. Oh. All of the stories my mother told me, however, the one where she scared me the most as a child was the one about the wash day demon. This was a potentially mortality warning, combining elements of superstition and retribution of wrongdoing. According to mother, if a housewife or a female homemaker, my mother had escaped the subtleties of a woman's lib, but was nonetheless able to incorporate single women in her story, committed to a black enough sin, such as shoddily darning her husband's socks, she would be visited by the wash day demon. This was a foul creature from the pits of hell, who would pop up and visit the transgressing women's everyday wash day. Not every day, every wash day, sorry. Ensuring her clean laundry would become inexplicably marked and soiled as it hung on the line. My father found this concept particularly hilarious. If the worst a woman had to deal with her sins was a mucky-fingered pixie and some soiled linen, then the majority of womankind could happily sin away. Mother, however, always seemed to regard the concept of the wash day demon with a little more gravity than the boogeyman and hexes. I believe that this increased earnestness, which made me particularly uncomfortable as a child. My mother's own wash day was always on Wednesday, and more often than not, as I sat at her feet watching her peg clothes on the line, undergarments always respectably hidden behind the sheets, she would raise the subject of the demon. Let's hope the wash day demon doesn't come in the night and stain our clothes, Meg. Dang it, Meg, she would whisper. Sorry. But in all the years that my mother hung her laundry, he never did. In fact, the Daz Doorstep Challenge had been invented for women like my mother, and her clothes always glowed in the holy whiteness. For all this, Mother continued to obsess about the demon. She claimed that when she was a child, her neighbor had been visited by him. Overnight, the woman's laundry became stained and foul-smelling no matter how many times she rewashed it and refused to come clean until finally the woman went mad. I wondered why someone might go mad over dirty laundry, but my mother went on to tell me that the soiling of the washing was always accompanied by some other manifestation, a tangible byproduct of the woman's wrongful deed, and was usually this which caused the woman's fear. The only way to appease the demon, whispered my mother, was to acknowledge your wrongdoing. Not as easy as it might appear, since the demon could swing by the years after a woman's act of naughtiness. After pinpointing the problem, the woman in question would have to burn every item of clothing and linen in her house, along with a lock of her hair, as an offering to the demon. If she failed to do this, the mark on her soul would grow too large to eradicate her sin. It would be discovered. Worse still, the demon, a factitious and mischievous spirit who craved acknowledgement, would twist her wrongdoing into something far worse than it originally had been. Telling a story? As I grew older, I heard the story less. Eventually, it was nothing more than a vague child memory, sharing limited space with all the other childish fairy tales I had heard throughout my youth. When I was 18, I moved out of my parents' house and into my own home, by which stage the wash day demon was a thing of the past. There we go. It wasn't a hugely ambitious relocation, even that I bought a little terrace house a few doors down from them. It sat almost at the rear of my childhood home, separated by a tract of common land which ran a strip between the back gardens of the two rows of houses. I remained close to my parents up until my father's death 5 years ago and my mother's recent passing. But having my own place gave me a sense of freedom that I'd never felt before, releasing me from the rituals of my mother's superstition, rituals which, thankfully, I did not feel compelled to take with me. Since that move 8 years ago, I barely thought about the black cats and wash day demons, except on the occasional sense of vague nostalgia. I certainly didn't have cause to fear my mother's shadow demons until, that is, last week. It's odd, but despite the superstitious condition of my childhood, the wash day demon wasn't the first thing I thought of when I saw the strange shape mark on one of my white bed sheets. It appeared as a small, irregular handprint. As I peered closer, I saw it had 5 long streaks above where the fingertips ended. The whole thing was dark brown in color and stood out starkly against the purity of the rest of the sheet. My first thought was that one of Sophie's kids from next door was responsible. They were forever kicking their ball into my garden and letting themselves in the back gate to collect it. I tossed the sheet back in the machine, waited the next wash to load, thinking that I would let it slide this time. If the little buggers kept getting chocolatey hand marks everywhere, though, I'd have to speak to Sophie about it. I'm going to count to 3 on 3. Everybody say 3. When you hear 3, say 3. So 1, 2, 3. That's pretty close. Hope, what are you confused about? You're pausing the story. I'm just going to wait here. Well, it looks like Hope is way laggy right now. I don't know why you're laggy, Hope. Is that all that's wrong? Why are you cringing? I don't speak Spanish, Hope. Hable inglés, por favor. I don't know. Anyways, a couple days later, I was in the village running a few errands. Hey, Double JTV. I just cut through the maze of back alleys, shortcuts behind the shops. Then I sensed a presence behind me. Swinging around, I saw a child, 8 or 9 years old. You calling me a man-child? Why are you leaving, Hope? But if you are, have a good night. Hope to see you again. Silently following me, as had fluffy blonde hair which stuck up, chick-like, around his head, and would have been cute or funny if it weren't for his eyes. In 26 years, I've never met someone with eyes that have chilled me, far less the eyes of a child. For that matter, I've seen very few photographs of convicted killers who have managed to convey quite so much hatred and evil in their eyes alone. This is the infamous photo of Mira Hindley. There is the photo of Mira Hindley. We're going to look that up. I'm guessing it's this one. But even the image is flat and two-dimensional, seemingly very far removed from one's own reality. The child's eyes weren't, almost shaped in icily blue. Almond shaped, not almost. They were almond. They appeared to be sunken deep into the skull. A predatory, watchful gaze hooded them slightly. And this would have been disconcerting enough on its own, disconcerting even without the air of full-bodied hatred which sparked off of him. Like embers from a grinding stone. All of this I took in briefly in the moment before I turned back on him and stepped up my pace through the winding alley. It had been my intention not to look back, so unnerved that I had been by the child. It was, however, this very sense of unease, heavy as a storm cloud, which forced me to turn again, almost against my will. His evil drew me like a magnet. He was an unwanted fascination. The accident at the side of a road, which we glance at, even as we know, as we vow to avoid it. Had not I looked back, I wouldn't have seen his hands, which now hung limply at his sides. On each of his fingers, reminiscent of Chinese mandarins, protruded long, taloned nails, curled under in perfect arc. That time, when I turned away, I didn't walk. I ran. When I returned home, I busied myself with my household tasks, tidying and dusting, and putting on another wash. Still, at that point, I didn't think of the wash day demon. The child, I told myself, was part of a traveling group, just passing through. He had meant me no ill will. I had simply overreacted. I continued to tell myself this until that evening. Something pulled me out of my dreamless sleep and urged me to the bedroom window. Flipping the curtain aside, I saw him there, in the center of the moon-washed garden. He was running the long nail tenderly, almost lovingly, down my newly washed sheets. As though sensing my presence, he glanced up and caught my gaze, his eyes hooded almost imperceptibly. Then, in whirling of impish delight, he set about ripping my sheets to shreds, his legs, arms, feet, all moving in a grotesque dance of destruction. When he had finished, he looked up again, triumphant and brooding. Before each of my clothes pegs pinned on the one hook nail. Then he set off at a jog towards the back gate, letting it slam hollowly in the empty silence. The next morning when I returned to the garden, every item in the laundry was either shredded or stained with his dirty handprints. Moving closer, I now saw that it wasn't chocolate, as I first thought it was, but dried blood. After all the years I'd spent denying my mother's stories, it seemed that I had my very own wash day demon. I almost had a pretty good idea why he was there. Within half an hour, I had collected every item of clothing and linen in my house, from the timeless Chanel suit I'd spent months saving for, to my plain white sheets monogrammed with my initials, MJP, bought for me as a joke by my best friend when I first moved into my house. Everything dear to me was piled high on a bonfire of broken twigs. I had just struck the second match. I set the whole lot smoldering nicely, poking it with a stick, when my front doorbell rang. Ignoring it, I continued to stir my offering. Asking the demon to remove the stain from my soul, the doorbell rang again, and then a pounding at the gate. Standing there, stick in hand, I watched as the latch unflipped itself, and 4 policemen threw themselves into my garden. "Megan Patrick?" one said, and I nodded, even though I knew it was a statement, not a question. "I'm arresting you on suspicion of murder." A blur, an awareness of water being thrown on a fire, and a hiss as it died, along with any hope. Someone yelling, "There's blood on these sheets too. She's trying to burn the evidence, but it looks like there's enough left to make a match." Then I was being dragged out of the back gate and down the no man's land between the houses, back towards the tract of land behind my parents' house. Already, there was a fluttering of yellow crime scene tape. Squaring off a small portion of mud, I was pushed forward and glanced into the hole, and there, wrapped, I was told in one of my monogram sheets, was a child of 8 or 9 years old. I knew his age, even though he was decomposing, flesh and bone falling apart. But he shouldn't have been called a child. No, I screamed, wanting to speak it out loud. Not a child. A baby, yes. That was my sin. Pregnant at 17 in a small community, with a devout mother. Instead of doing something immediately, I waited until I had missed 6 periods, and then I turned one of my mother's knitting needles on myself. I hadn't expected the baby to be so formed, so perfect. Nor had I expected it to be quite so substantial. For a moment, I had not been sure that it was still alive, but I hadn't checked twice. Instead, I had run with my burden into the dead of night, scraped a grave into the common land behind our garden, where it remained undiscovered ever since. That was 9 years ago. A baby unborn, but not this child. However, whoever or whatever it was, then I saw it. The hands, skeletal and rotting, were nonetheless finished off with long curving nails which had taken 9 years to grow, 9 years in which a dead baby had also somehow kept growing, a youthful misjudgment which had evolved into something very different, a game for satisfaction of the wash day demon, a game 9 years in the making. As I watched, I saw the dead head turn towards me, and one eye clicked open in languid, conspiratorial wink, as if to say, here I am. I've caught up with you at last. And it was then I remembered the hair. I had started the fire burning, but forgot to add the lock of my hair. Too late, I knew. Just as surely as I knew the blood on the sheets would match the child's blood. That is, I can never prove the truth of what had really happened. The demon had taken my sin and amplified it in the most hideous manner, turning it into something no washing in the world would ever be able to remove. Did y'all like that story? I like that story. Y'all like that, huh? I'm glad you like that. This one's called The Pale Emperor. Yeah, that B word looks crazy. The one I just deleted. Did y'all ever hear about the Moores murders? That lady you saw the picture of is Mira Hindley. The Moore murders were carried out by Ian Brady. That's this. Oh, here's the two. By these two. Ian Brady and Mira Hindley between July 1963 and October 1965 in and around Manchester, England. The victims were 5 children aged between 10 and 17. Pauline Reed, John Kilbride, Keith Bennett, Leslie Ann Downey, and Edward Evans, at least 4 of whom were sexually assaulted. 2 of the victims were discovered in graves dug in Saddleworth Moor. A 3rd grave was discovered in 1987, more than 20 years after the Brady and Hindley's trial. The body of a 4th victim, Keith Bennett, was also suspected to be buried there, but despite the repeated searches, it remains undiscovered. The police were finally aware of the 3 killings, those of Edward Evans, Leslie Ann Downey, and John Kilbride. The investigation was reopened in 1985 after Brady was reported in the press as having confessed to the murders of Pauline Reed and Keith Bennett. Brady and Hindley were taken separately to Saddleworth Moor to assist the police in their search for the graves, both by then having confessed to the additional murders. Characterized by the press as the most evil woman in Britain, Hindley made several appeals against her life sentence, claiming she was a reformed woman and no longer a danger to society, but was never released. She died in 2002 at the age of 60. Brady was declared criminally insane in 1985 and confined in high-security Ashworth Hospital. He made it clear that he never wished to be released and repeatedly asked to be allowed to die. He died in 2017 at Ashworth, aged 79. The murders were a result of what Malcolm McCullough, professor of forensic psychiatry at Cardiff University, called concatenation of circumstances. I don't know if that's the right word. The trial judge, Mr. Justice Fitton Atkinson, described Brady and Hindley in the closing remarks as 2 sadistic killers of the utmost depravity. And this is Saddleworth Moor. This is a very beautiful place. Isn't that beautiful? Ernie, come on. These are actually dead kids. That's mean. But yeah, he Windomium Leviosa or whatever. It's messed up, man. This story's called The Pale Emperor. I had always wondered what the bottom of a lake looked like, and now I know. It looks like the sun setting over the horizon, where the farthest depths of the sky are black. But you can see a kind of layered improvement in the light the further along you get. I wouldn't be able to see anything at all down here if it wasn't for the full moon. At least here, near the bottom of the lake. I was safe, I think. I knew that with every hour I drew, the oxygen level in the car drained. If I died here, at least it would be my way instead of dying at the hands of that thing. The ambiguous mass of shapeless dark that could keep up with my car, even though it was going 85 miles an hour before I crashed. If I didn't have a 4-cylinder engine, I would have gone faster and maybe have gotten away. I first met him when I was 6. He was and he was the perfect house guest. When we had our tea party, he wanted to bring his friends, but I insisted that I get to know him first. His friends made me feel weird anyways, because even though I couldn't see them, I could hear them talking to us. I showed him all the stuffed toys and baby dolls and asked if his friends might like to play with them too. He liked my toys, but he said real things are better, and one day I'd have lots of real friends. Maybe whenever I met his friends, we'd all be friends and have so much fun, we wouldn't need any toys. I told my mother all about him. How his friends called him the Pale Emperor, and she forbid me from imagining him again. She was a very stern Christian, and throughout such nonsense was surely the work of the devil. Sullen, I explained how in Sunday school we were taught that God wanted us to make friends. She looked down her nose at me and said that only applied to real friends and real people. I tried to defend Pale, but she wouldn't have any of the nonsense. I scoffed at her behind the closed door of my room. Pale sensed that I was distressed and asked what happened. I told him what my mother had said. He didn't like that at all. Next Sunday, when we were at church, a big, heavy wooden cross fell off the high arched ceiling and split her head open, spewing her brain matter on me. My mouth was open, singing psalms. And as hard as it is to deny it, I know I ate some of her brain tissue. Pale didn't show up until after I had closed the casket funeral. Pale didn't show up until after the closed casket funeral. Sorry. I was absolutely furious. I told Pale that if I knew what he did, I told him God doesn't let killers into heaven. They burn in hell. I told Pale I knew what he did. And that's what he's going to do one day. He didn't like that. Pale stopped appearing in front of me entirely. I was glad for that, because when I yelled at him that night, he was changing. His skin grew darker, especially around his eyes, which were beginning to turn yellow. The more I yelled at him, the more yellow they became. He got taller, and his hands started to meld together and become webbed. He didn't look like a real person anymore. After that, Pale started to come only at night, but he stayed hidden. What I had once considered a friend was now a stranger lurking in the dark. I could hear him whispering from the closet, asking me to come play. Other times I heard him giggling under my bed, telling me that his friends were there, everyone but me. He only wanted to play again, and that if I did, we would be friends forever. He got mad because I told him wouldn't play. He got mad because I told him wouldn't play with him. I told him I wouldn't play with him. Missing a word. A letter, a word. And I wouldn't be his friend. He started shaking the bed violently. At that point, I started to fear him. I didn't talk to him anymore. He didn't like that. It wasn't until I was age 7, and on an unusually dark night, I awoke to voices. I recognized them as his friends, but they weren't encouraging and cheerful like they were before. The voices under my bed were crying for help, saying they were trapped there, and that I'd be trapped there too. Put my head under my covers, but I saw Pale under there. His eyes were glowing bright yellow, and he smiled. I could see his elongated, jagged teeth by the mere light of his demonic eyes. I screamed. He really didn't like that. I flung the covers off me in a panic and started to run to the hall. I fell when I was almost at the door. I heard Dad moving somewhere in the house. Something cold had closed around my leg, and I shouted again. It was the shadows, but the shadows looked like hands clasped around my leg. and they were touching me. I could feel them, cold, dead, and pulling me into their dark home under my bed. I jerked and pulled, pleading with Pale to stop his friends. He said my mom was there too, and she had decided to be his friend. Why couldn't I? His friends pulled so hard that I slid quickly across the room towards the underside of the bed, and I saw several bright yellow eyes under there, all belonging to Pale. The lights came on and Dad came through the door. I stood up and tried to run to him, but I fell again, sobbing. My leg was so clawed and mangled that I couldn't walk. My father taped a towel across my leg to stop the bleeding and rushed me to the hospital. The doctor said they'd only seen such injuries in feral animal attacks and suicide cases. My father denied their recommendation to put me in an asylum. The doctor said I could really wind up hurt or worse. We came back to the house, and I didn't see him that night. I had stayed wide awake for most of it. I had hoped the light had hurt him. Soon after, we packed and left for an apartment down the road. Father wanted to, so we wouldn't have to relive the memories of Mom in the house. And I wanted to, so I didn't get terrorized by the killer. I hadn't seen him until tonight, almost 20 years later. I sensed him before I saw him, but it was a presence as familiar to me as it was then. I immediately grabbed the keys from my car to leave and go stay at my friend's. As I passed the doors down the hall, I saw him in the bathroom first, then each room after that, smiling that terrifying carnivorous grin. As I flung open the door to sprint out, I heard the cries of his friends pleading with me not to go. I did anyways. He didn't like that. I pulled out of the driveway, and with the screech of the tires, I was gone. I was sobbing hysterically, barely able to see the road ahead of me. I looked in the rearview mirror. He was standing in the middle of the road. As I drove further away, he didn't move further away. He was unmoving in the road, yet still ever present. I picked up speed. I saw him jerking, moving unnaturally, inhumanly. I glanced down at the speedometer, 80, 82, 83. I looked back, and he was almost upon me. 85. I snapped my attention to the road in front of me. He was there, watching with his bright yellow eyes. I grit my teeth and prepared for impact. He disappeared as soon as my Civic hit him, but the steering completely failed, and I veered off the road. When I ran my car into the water, because of that shapeless dark, I blacked out briefly. The next thing I knew, it was slowly sliding upside down to a drop-off point. I looked through the windows of the car. There was ever black panther. If there was an ever blacker, if there was ever a blacker than black, it would be at the bottom of this lake. I don't know where I said panther. I just saw a P there. I glanced around for my purse. In the crash, everything flew everywhere, and my car wasn't the cleanest of sorts. I found my purse in a Subway wrapper smudged with barbecue sauce. I sat on the ceiling and rested my upper back on the seat. My lower back was meant to be. I fumbled around my purse, pulling out a pack of Marlboro Reds, or as my father called them, cowboy killers. If I was gonna die, I wanted a damn cigarette. And I hadn't even thought about making a break for the surface. I refused to go where he was. A part of me actually wanted to die here, at least away from him. I thumbed the lighting mechanism for my windproof lighter. Zippo. I stared down at the flame and drew deeply from the cigarette. When I looked up, my heart stopped. At first, I thought it was from the lighter, because there was a yellow light at the bottom of the lake. However, they began to multiply. The lights in the darkness came closer. I realized the car was moving to the drop-off point. The windproof lighter blew out. I looked behind me and screamed. The Pale Emperor was pushing the car. My breaths were labored as I kicked the window, trying to escape. He hated that. I gurgled. A growl rang in my head. And I was certain that I was going to die here if I didn't get out now. Precious moments went by, and the drop-off point came ever closer. I frantically looked around the car for something to bash the window open with. Everything was so scattered, so chaotic. I scanned the clutter, opening the glove box, but I couldn't find nothing. Then I thought about the metal cigarette box in my purse. I immediately reached for my purse and grabbed the metal box. I raised my hand to strike the window with the edge of the box, but Pale's face appeared, his shapeless maw opening to utter the most inhuman shriek I ever heard. It caused me to drop my box. I looked around the ceiling for it, but Pale jerked the car, and my cigarette box tumbled underneath some garbage. I shifted everything in an all-out panic. The disordinate groan of metal and the increasing hopelessness of my situation was crescendo of my worst fears. Everything started to get dark, but I found it. I raised my hand to bash out the window, but I saw those horrible sets of yellow eyes. I looked up to see the moon getting further and further away, succumbing to the nothingness that enveloped me. And I was too. The only light in the darkness was a cigarette I had lit that had rolled into the corner. It was almost dead. I grabbed it and breathed life into it. As I puffed the cigarette, the inside of the car glowed red, dimming every few seconds to burn brighter by another breath of life, like a pulse. It seemed like the smoke, though, was so quickly, but in reality, I was afraid of the light going completely out. Oh, it seemed like I smoked through it so quickly, but in reality, I was afraid of the light going completely out. I opened the cigarette box. I had 5 cigarettes left. I searched for the lighter, but I couldn't find it. Desperately, I lit another cigarette with the dying embers of the last. Smoke filled the car, but I could see them when I took a drag from the cigarette, and the light glowed bright. 4. Their bodies were gray, except for Pale's. His was black. He was full of strange holes, like his skin had been stretched too far and ripped. 3. The other creatures he called his friends miled about the car. Pale smiled. He knew I was nearing my last cigarette. Despite my trepidation, I edged to the window to see if I could see the moon. Barely. 2. It was so dark down here. I realized the moon was getting farther away. No, I was still sinking. My cigarette started dying. 1. I breathed shakily, and Pale's toothy smile spanned wider. I heard him in my head ask me to be friends, but this time it was a whisper. Each time he asked more loudly. His friends, the gray ones, begged me not to go. Cheering at first, but the deeper I sunk, the deeper, even more desperate their voices became. The cigarette went out. 0. He liked that. Did y'all like that one? Green light. That's a creepy face I was making. Nobody's talking. Why is nobody talking? Oh, wait. Torture to death sentence. Yeah, long and drawn out. Agreed, no. Gotta get ready for work. At least I was awake for the stream this time. Bye, Sianta. Teehee. I'll keep streaming on. Later, Earns. Ha, wow, silly. Getting ready for work. Everyone is asleep. They must be. What was silly, my story? Oh. Oh, come on, Pop. Oh, yeah. My back popped and it was wondrous. The face you made was silly. Oh, you're silly. Must be getting hot. The fan keeps getting closer. Yeah. It's my buddy. My fan's unplugged. Yeah, I know, it was pretty hot today. It was, still here, just blasting some Thunder Kiss. It says it was only 75, 85. It felt a lot hotter than that today. You broke your own rule and looked behind you. It's 8:46. Where has the time gone? Do you like that story? Bacon hot? I don't know what that means. It confused you? I'm not gonna lie to you. There was something disconcerting about this GIF. What is this? El Arroyo always speaks the truth. Pardon me for a bit. Someone on Twitter wanted Yao pictures? I don't understand. What are Yao? Boys love. Thanks for sharing that with us. Disgusting. Yeah, I didn't know that. That's why I said disgusting. Nothing wrong with being gay. It's just, I don't know. You know, I'd post boobs in here if I could. Yeah, I didn't kill me. No. Anybody want some peanut butter? I'll probably get shut down for that one. Bruh. Really? That was peanut butter. That was just peanut butter. And I swear, if I get shut down for that, I'm having some words with YouTube. Had a joke, but it's forbidden. Say it in Discord. That's what it's for. Oh. Well, there's how you never lose your glasses again. If you were interested. And you can flip them up when you're done. Do any of you have eyebrow piercings? Yeah, some people look alright with eyebrow piercings. Oh. I wouldn't care if he gave me rabies. I'd let him in. I'm just looking at Reddit now, guys. I'm sorry. This though, do y'all know what that is? That's a real thing, by the way. Do y'all know what that is? That's lunch, I suppose. No, it's a real creature. No cheating. You guys ready? Yep, Ernie got it. That's a stingray. That's a dried stingray. Yeah. Yeah, that's a real thing. So I had something funny to happen to me today. I drive an F-150. It's not small, but you know, it's just a little truck. Well, it's not little. It's a 4x4 FX4, but you know, it's a truck. Well, I'm required to back into every spot I park into. It's an oil field thing. It's so you can escape. So I'm pulling out to go into the spot, and there's people going and pulling out, and this lady just whips in this little Toyota thing. I mean, she flies in, and I'm like, no, she didn't take my spot. But no, she didn't take my spot. She took both spots. She took a little of my spot and most of her spot. She parked on the line. I didn't know what it was, or if it was a woman or a man or what. But I saw her get out in like this big rush, and I put my truck in park, and I said, "Hey!" And she said, "You want to scoot over a little bit?" She gets in her vehicle and leaves. Yeah, it was pretty funny. Screw that lady. I didn't feel the least bit mad about that either. I felt vindicated when that happened. Maybe she had to poo. Maybe I scared the poo out of her. I don't know. Too cute to get mad? I doubt that. So yeah, let's play a video game for a little bit. Oh, let me go get my sleep drink. Thanks, guys. Chappy, gotta eat dinner. I'm Mr. Healthy now. Bye. See ya, Ernie. I hope you feel better. Talk to me in Discord sometime. Tell me about what's going on. If it's not too much. I mean, I don't know. So hang on one second. What? Whoa, headset. You know what's funny? This is a wireless headset. So I did get it. That email that guy sent me from Neuro was correct. I found one of my old bottles. And in the bottle it says this on the back. On the old bottle, it was 3% total carbs, 35 calories. On the new bottle, it's 0 calories, 5 carbs, 0 sugar, and erythritol. Erythritol, what is that? That better not be a fake sugar, because I'll stop drinking it. Is a low-calorie sweetener. So they added diet sugar. They did. Using sugar alcohol such as erythritol, which tastes like sugar but contains almost 0 calories. While sugar alcohol has several advantages, such as containing almost no calories, causing a spike in blood sugar and causing tooth decay, they have a few disadvantages. Erythritol can cause side effects such as diarrhea and headache, and stomach ache. I don't care. Well, it's a low-calorie sweetener that's going to give me cancer. Not the smoking, it's the erythritol. I don't know. Sugar is natural. And they're saying erythritol is GMO-free and 0 calories and blibbity-blobbity-blue. I'm going to stop drinking Neuro Sleep, I think. Because dang it, I liked the way it tasted before. I mean, now it tastes alright, but drink Powerade before bed? Sure. Oh, I didn't grab myself an ice cream. Too late. I don't care. We're gonna play a game. I haven't played BioShock in a while. Do you guys want to watch some BioShock? We're at 8 people. Whoops. Something is pressing my G key. Oh. Found it. With my headset. It was on my keyboard for my laptop. No sweet for you. What? I don't know what happened. One thing got shifted on my table, and then I don't know what that was. It just fell off my table. I think that's VR stuff. Play PT. Nope. And then have nightmares forever. I don't think I have PT. Oh, I have to reinstall these games. That's right. You found it? What did I find? I heard something. I'll be right back. I'm gonna look outside. I kind of want to play it, but I'm such a coward when it comes to horror games. Yeah, I'm not even gonna play games. I'm gonna move y'all back over here and chat with y'all for a little bit before I go to bed. We're gonna make me smaller. Maybe a little bit bigger. That's good. I don't want sleep drink. Now I want green tea. But it's like fake green tea, but it tastes good. So I kind of like this one. $32 grams of sugar. 'Cause heck yeah. I consider it like a gateway green tea. No, I still want to play a game, but receive a nitro game. What game do I want? faster than light. Oh, yeah. I'm trying to find a game. Why do you stream at only 480p? I do? I used to not. Let me go to my settings. Let's go to YouTube. Didn't I used to stream at a higher rate than this? Where's my little wrench? Little wrench. There it is. Oh, wow. Okay. Should be in OBS settings. I didn't see it in OBS settings. Account settings, YouTube, general, imports, nothing. Integration, don't know what that is. API settings, no. There we go. Output. Video. I'll have to I'm looking. I'm gonna find out. Let's see what my output bitrate is. My video bitrate is 2500, which means I should be 1080p. Enable advanced encoder settings. How do I enable advanced encoder settings? What's your video pace output at? Do you mean resolution? it's 1536 by 864. I'd have to stop streaming to see if I could fix it. Let me see if I can turn off my camera. I'm going to delete my camera for a second. Let me see if I can change this. Stand by. Well, let me have my camera back. Not that one, but that one. Huge. Oh, that's wider. How does that look? Ha! Now you can see my bed and my dirty clothes. I don't care. Yeah, I'd have to come off streaming. Nah, it's not bad. Shh, it's okay. Yeah, let me see the YouTube. Let me see how I look on the YouTubes. Yeah, it's a little bit fuzzy, isn't it? I'm looking at my stream right now. It's me looking at me. Wait. We're in the Matrix. Hang on. Jesus, it's taking forever. Oh, it's showing a stream within a stream within a stream. It's going to keep ever repeating it. All right. Yes, Inception. My walls are so empty, and I'm fine with that. Inside's a really good game. Trying to find a new game. Gonna drink the sleep drink because I need to go to sleep soon. I woke up at midnight last night. What is that? Full Metal Furries? Nope. Almost had me. How's everybody doing? Tooth and Tail looks really good. The last day of June. Yes, Inception, just getting high. My book is in town. That's awesome. You're gonna get it and forget about me. Wonderful. Kingsway. I don't know this one. The end is nigh. D-Blob 2. Tormentor X Punisher. Oh, it's a top-down game. D-Blob. Slime Saw. Oh, that's a weird-looking game. Monster Slayers. It's a card game. Shadow Tactics. Darksiders. Escalation. Ashes of Singularity. Escalation. Tyranny. Goner. Metronomicon. Bioshock. Project High Rise. Oh, they even remastered Bioshock 1. I'm so sleepy too. Sucks I gotta work and pump up tonight. Squat 200 other day, guys. Yay, getting stronger. I love Chappy, behave. Kingdom New Lands is a really good game. Abzu is kind of a cool one. It's like a beautiful diving game. Dead Age. I don't feel like they're showing me the game though. Inside's pretty creepy, but Kathy Rain, action adventure. Detective. Pony Island. Psychological horror. Oh, it looks stupid. Darksiders 2. Need horror mermaid games. On it. Chaos Reborn. Kingdom Classics. Jotun Valhalla Edition. System Shock. Oh, it's an old school game. Soma. Oh. Is Soma a creepy game? It looks kind of creepy. Let's do some searching. Yeah, it's a horror game. Alright, let's look at the gallery. They're all videos. Let's go to images. See what kind of creepy we're dealing with here. Oh yeah. Yeah, we can play a little bit of this. Oh, I really want to get that Hell game. I gotta wait for my PC before I get that game. Hacknet Simulation. Duck Game. Galactic Civilization 3. New Oddworld, new and tasty. Metro 2033. Redo or Redux. Guacamole. Oh, you know what? I could probably play that game, Soma. Forgot. Oh, but it's for mature audiences. Dude, I'm 38. Soba's good? Yeah, I might play that. Oh, one of my favorite games, Risk of Rain. It's not creepy, it's just a good game. Brutal Legend. Why does that look freaking cool? It's all death metal and swinging an axe around. Stupid. Or, oh, I thought it said stupid. Super House of Dead Ninjas. Super Hexagon. Torchlight 2. Ticket to Ride. No. Rebellion. Yeah. Faster Than Light. There's that game again. Amnesia, The Dark Descent. Oh. Oh, yeah. That looks nice and creepy. We're going to install that. Install game. Go back to activity. Nope. Nitro. My bad. Just looking for some creepy games to install on my gaming computer. Limbo. Spellforce 2. The chicks on the front looked kind of hot, though. Go to sleep, Smoke. Go to sleep. It's time to throw that out. It's disgusting. Zinzenberg. Oh no, that looks terrible. This can't be all their games. Guacamole. That's pretty much all their games. Well, I'm installing them. Layers of Fear has a second one coming out this year. Buffering. Who's buffering? You? I'm sorry. I'm at 800 megabytes done of Amnesia, The Dark Descent. Ooh, we good. Uh-oh, stream dead again? Not dead, just lag, I think. I don't know. I don't see I'm dropping frames. Let me finish installing these, and then maybe it'll be good. Queued, finalizing. It looks good on my computer. And my phone, maybe? Let's see. Oh, it is lagging. I'm sorry, guys. I can pause that. Is that better? I apologize. Yeah, that's me. I'll stop downloading for a minute. My interwebs is maxed out, I think. Skipped frames detected, 79% a minute. Yeah, that was me. Sorry. Anyways, it's 9:30. I think I'm gonna go to bed, guys. How many of y'all are in here? 6 peoples. I keep finding little bumps on me. Gotta keep picking at them. What's my hair doing? I don't know. Anyways, guys, there we go. I'm gonna go offline. I love you all. You're all awesome people, and I will stream again tomorrow, and I will be back tomorrow, and I'll try to increase the streams. Bye, Chappy. Thank yous. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. Rest, pretty boy. Whatever you say, Yandere. You crazy. I should. There's something on my screen. Good night. I'll talk to you with y'all on Discord for a little bit as I go to sleep, if y'all are interested. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. Don't get these headphones. Wait, where's the... Don't get these headphones unless you're ready for bass 27.0. They're alright for sound, but bass is like really hardcore. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna go to bed. You guys be good. Love you all. I need to shave this. Ooh, did I feel something? Oh. Must have been a healed, ingrown hair. Gross. But alright, guys. You all be awesome. Be creepy. We'll play some creepy games soon. I'm going to give old Orange here, you can kind of see it, another chance to be in a computer again. Maybe the computer is sorry for being an a-hole and not wanting to boot up, so we'll find out. While we wait for parts for... this bad boy with these bad boys and a little bit of this bad boy and this bad boy. This stuff's heavy. I haven't even opened it yet. I've opened this one though. It doesn't say anything about liquid. Oh heck, I'm going to stream for a little bit longer. I want to see if I can see anything about liquid in here. Ooh, I wonder if I can... You know what? I'm just going to look and see if there's a liquid port. Probably not be a good idea to add a liquid port there. It would probably be a better idea to add a liquid port here, though. I hear something. back in here. Put your toys away. Now! It's my liquid cooling. Look at this. Look at the bottom of this. It's all shiny and stuff. And I'm not going to touch it with my hands. And I'm probably going to get some gloves. Yeah, it probably is. And I'm fine with that. I can't wait to see what she looks like all powered up and stuff. And I'm not installing her in this, but I could. I could totally upgrade this computer, but I didn't have any these slots for this computer. This is a heavy bastard. But now I gotta see about returning one of my liquid coolers because I got two of them. I'm not one of those, miners that needs a BA computer. High performance. I don't know. Yeah, look at this bad boy. Could you guys believe that this is 2 gigabytes? That's solid state. That's 2 gigs of solid state memory. It's insane. Wear goggles. Why should I wear goggles? But I think I will keep, I might save it as a backup? No, that dang thing's expensive. Amazon. I'll tell you how much it was. ROG, RYOU, $240, $154. But I'm missing more money than that. So I say gigabytes, didn't I? I'm sorry. This little thing is 2 terabytes. So that's 1,000 gigabytes each. So that's 2,000 gigabytes. Let's see how much memory I have in this bad boy. 237 and 931. Yeah, I have a terabyte. This is 2 of those. And I have 4 terabytes. These things were expensive. I should return one of those. These little bastards were not cheap. WD Blue, 2 terabyte. That was $229. That's actually not that bad. I don't know if that's right. Let me see. Yeah, $229 when child doesn't want to sleep. Well, I'm an adult, so So I might not get to build this until after I get back from the field. But when I build it, she's gonna be bad. But yeah, I'm probably gonna get a new version of Windows for this computer and not install everything that's on this computer because it's kind of a pain in the butt. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I'll figure something out. Windows is only like $100. But yeah, so anyways, guys, I'm gonna get some sleepy sleeps. It's 9:41, so you guys be good. Yeah, she's gonna be beast of the PC. Yes, she will. I forget who, I think it was Tiger. I gotta track all my orders and I gotta get all that sorted out, so I might do that for a little bit. Don't you already have Windows 10? Yeah, on this computer and that computer. Why can I just install it if I have it already? I don't know. I just gotta wait a couple days, maybe like a week, and find out what comes in. And then return stuff that might have got double ordered, like an extra water cooler. If I return the water cooler and the extra 2 terabytes of, I don't want to though because I already have it. Yeah, whatever, we'll figure it out. I'll make more money soon because I'm going back to the field. But alright guys, you know I love you all. I am really getting off this time. You be good, stay creepy, stay awesome. Talk in Discord, talk to me. If you ever need anything to talk about, seriously, if something's going on in your life and you just want to talk, just talk to me. You can PM me and I'll usually respond. Used to be you could. They might have changed it. I don't know. Pip, we'll have to talk about that so we can figure out if I just have to buy Windows or, you know. Weird thing is I won't have an operating system on that computer, so it's a fresh build. So I gotta set up I gotta at least get a disk, basically. But yeah. Alright guys, be good. Love you all. Have a good night. And bye. Wait a second. That's not right. Hang on. There we go. Bye.